Mr. National President, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we are honoured not only to have our National President here tonight in Neil, but we've also got a past National President in Lindsay over there, Lindsay Dutch. And these guys, they're always very busy visiting clubs and conferences everywhere. I also hear that our District President, Phil McCaffrey over there, he gets about a bit as well. In fact, I was lucky enough to be able to attend the President's Dinner last October up in Preston. That's a very nice place because it's just verging on the Lake District, really. It's very lovely up there. And I was able to learn something about women as leaders and women as entrepreneurs. So yeah, that was good, wasn't it? And then we also had a thing about this new speaker's website that had recently been refurbished and made much easier for us to use. And I came home and told our Vice President Col about it, because I don't know whether you noticed, but he's very big on this sort of thing. In fact, he'd already linked our website to theirs. He was ahead of the game. And I, on my notes, was going to say, Carl is always violently imploring us to, to put blogs up on the website and pictures and keep it all active and current. I don't know where I got that from, but he's always doing it. I would encourage anybody here to attend such occasions as these conferences. The district conference obviously is going to be here tomorrow, right here in this hotel, very handy for us all. So, and it's such a great occasion to learn things from other people there. In fact, there'll even be a small group of us going up to the national conference in Gatwick in April. It'll be my first on the national scene, and I'm looking forward to seeing the speakers who've been on the same journey as myself, competing there. And their speeches are so inspiring. They've worked on them so hard, and there are lots of things we can learn from that. Now, before coming here tonight, I was discussing my speech with Ian, my husband, and he said to me, darling, he said, just don't try to be too charming. In fact, don't do the witty thing either. And intellectual, don't try to be too intellectual. He said I was to just be myself. Dear indeed. Has anybody here heard of glossophobia? Glossophobia, it's a great word, isn't it? Now, I picked that up from the speaker's website, the one I was telling you about that's just been revamped, and it says on there that it is the fear of public speaking. And it makes me want to tell you about a story of a friend of mine. Yes, one or two I do have. This friend of mine joined the army as a young and cocky teenager, with all the attitude and self-confidence of youth. The only problem is that the military does not want its individuals like that. The military needs its men to work together as a team. The military needs its men to do what they are told without hesitation. The military demands obedience. So it takes its recruits and knocks the cockiness out of them through humiliation, punishment, and extra duties. Get down on the floor and give me 10 press-ups, soldier. And if that poor young recruit was to say, but it wasn't me, Sarge, you'd have to have 10 more. This was the environment my friend found himself in when a balloon debate was planned for all the troops. Each platoon was to take part. Now, a balloon debate, if you don't know, is when 4 people are in a pretend air balloon, and it's about to make an unscheduled landing in shark-infested waters. Now it's already thrown overboard, its sandbags and all its extra weight, and now it needs to shed even more weight to make it go up in the air to avoid that wet and messy ending. Each of the 4 people in the balloon are given a profession in life, like things like maybe a teacher, a doctor, maybe a carpenter. My friend was told he was going to be a traffic warden. A traffic warden left me a complimentary note on my windscreen the other day. It said, parking, fine. Back to the story. There was rivalry in the room that night. The troops had been all geared up, so they were stamping of feet, shouting and cheering, just to encourage their own platoon on. Now, when it was my friend's turn to stand up and justify his position in the balloon, he totally failed to rise to the challenge. He found his tongue was stuck to the roof of his mouth and his brain was in a fog, and all he could do was open and close his mouth like a fish. Totally frozen, he sat down without uttering anything of value. Now, from that day on, he was unable to speak to any kind of gathering or group. He didn't know it, but he had glossophobia. A speech at his wedding? Impossible. His mother's funeral? No way. Readings in church? All these things totally petrified him. So many years passed till, like a fairy tale, he heard about the local speakers club. And the rest, as they say, is history. Because as many of us here have experienced, he learnt how to stand up with confidence and be heard, how to make himself more interesting to listen to, and how to enjoy the challenge of being there. And he found that within that mutually supportive environment of speakers, he could improve his skills because the club gave him the opportunity to practice the art of public speaking. The results were truly astonishing because, as some of you may have guessed, I've not been talking about my friend, have I? I've been talking about myself. And whilst it's true I am actually no expert, the relief I can report when somebody says to me, how about you standing up and saying a few words, Wendy? And I can actually these days kind of think, I can do that. And I actually enjoy it. It's liberating. It's exciting. So as the great man Henry Ford once said, when everything seems to be going against you, remember that for an aeroplane to be able to fly, it has to take off against the wind and not with it. So, on behalf of glossophobics everywhere, with grateful thanks and appreciation, I'm going to ask you to join me in a toast to the Association of Speakers Clubs. So, please be upstanding. To the Association of Speakers Clubs.
Yes.
Cool.